Hello and welcome back to the Soul Care Intuitive podcast. I have returning champion here, Dominique Wright, who is the author of Her Side of the Story. It is a novel about Catherine de Medici, who she was in a past life. And we're going to talk some more about Dominique, her book, and past life things. So, Dominique, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me, Melinda. It's good to see you again.
So good to see you. So since the last time you were here, there's some things that have happened with your book. If you want to talk about that, some awards that you've gotten.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I actually am super excited and humbled by this, but um, my book has won two awards. One for women empowerment from an international award, and then the second one was Book of the Year, honorable mention through the historical fiction company. So super excited about that. Hey,
That is
so
really awesome. I'm so excited for you.
thank you.
What does it mean for your book when you get an award like that? What does it do?
Well, I mean, it's recognition,
Yeah.
and it's it's nice to be humbled that somebody has, chosen your book among so
Yep.
many that have been read, and they're like, yes, this one is on the top of the top,
Yeah,
and
but to win
so,
like that women's award, I'm sure there were
oh,
thousands of books entered, and for you to have won, that's just amazing. I'm so
thank
excited for
you.
you.
Yeah,
Okay, so anybody who hasn't read the book yet, you have to go get it. But Dominique talks about how she connected to her past life as Catherine de Medici, but there's things that happened in her personal life in this lifetime way before she ever found out about this past life that relate to it in so many ways. So there's two stories that I want you to share with us, if you will. The first time your husband that you're married to now, who is in the story, he's part of your past life, and the tattoo that you got. So share away.
okay. So, let's see. Maybe I'll start in the order. So,
Sure.
I had just gotten divorced, and I met my now husband. It
Hmm.
was really quick. It was very quick. So, like after I had ended my previous marriage, and so when we first met, I was very, I don't know, jaded maybe because
Yeah,
the
I can
the
understand.
previous the previous relationship was very um, mm, abusive. We'll just say
Right.
abusive,
Yeah.
right? And so I was very shielded and everything, but something was just drawing me to him, and even though I was like, the timing is wrong. Society is saying this and that. I was just I couldn't help myself.
Right.
And so I did set some boundaries and everything. And when we were dating, like I let him know like I needed some space, and he was very very honorable, which was nice and very gentle. And but the way that he talked to me was kind of made me giggle, like, and one of the main things that he had said to me when we first met was, I'm looking for a queen. And I'm like, that's the dumbest pickup line I've ever heard in my life. Right.
But you
But it
fell
was,
for it.
but like, it was humorous to me. But
Yeah.
I did, of course, like, I was like, you know, but there was another feeling behind it besides it being silly,
Right.
like,
Yes.
it was just like, oh, and the way that he pursued me
Right.
was just different from any other person that I had ever met. And um and then like hearing at the time, like um my guidance and my intuition
Right.
was just like, it's okay, just let him let him pursue you.
Right.
And so I was just kind of like letting things happen, letting the universe just, um And we started dating in the beginning of the year, and my birthday is in October. And um, I was like, I want to treat myself to a tattoo. And I hadn't had one since I was 17. Like
Right.
I
Okay.
only had one tattoo that I had gotten when I was 17. So this came out of the blue. And
You just had a feeling that you wanted this tattoo.
yeah, like it was so weird. It was just like a I must have this thing. And so I'm looking through pictures and I'm like, what do I want? Um and I felt at the time after I had left my ex-husband,
Right.
I started to allow myself to feel that divine feminine energy. Like it was overwhelming
Yeah, I
to
can
where
understand that.
like I was feeling beautiful. Like I was allowing myself to decorate my house with,
Right.
you know, soft furs and like things that were, just what I really loved. And
Right.
and so that was allowing my divine feminine energy to blossom more. And so I was allowing that queen energy
Mm-hmm.
to start coming in more, which at the time I didn't know that that was what was going on.
Right. Right. We're gonna get
Um,
into that. Yes.
and so when I'm looking, like, I'm like, what do I want? I know I want a tattoo. What do I want? And so I start searching and I'm like, I want a rose. I want a realistic rose and I want it to be purple for royalty. And like that, it was so interesting. Like, and and I started to feel very drawn to the colors of green and purple.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's so interesting that I'm saying that because I'm wearing a green shirt and there's like a purple thing behind me. But
Yeah.
I still really love green and purple. Um, but and so I knew that I wanted like a purple rose and I wanted leaves and I wanted to look realistic and I was like, and I am a queen. I am going to put a crown on this rose. And then so I had made my decision and then so but I did design the tattoo. I just
Okay.
picked out the colors and the crown. Like I went to I found a tattoo artist, like a realistic tattoo artist that wasn't comfortable with color, by the way. But I was like, you can do it. I totally believe in you. And he was like, I really don't know, but he did an amazing job. Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
gonna have you send me a photo and we'll put it on the screen for the viewers to see the tattoo.
okay. And but then there was like a decision of which arm it was going to go on. Like
Okay.
this was the process, right? That for me, and it was so interesting how it came about, and so the giving and receiving arm,
Yes.
and so I have it on my receiving arm, and the meaning behind my tattoo is it's a reminder to myself in my on my receiving arm that I
Yep.
always deserve to be loved like a queen.
I love that. And again,
And
you had no idea that you were Catherine de Medici this whole time.
no, I didn't, which was interesting. But I did feel when I first met my husband this absolutely mind blowing connection.
Like a
That,
magnetic force.
yes. And even like the first time he touched my hand, like it knocked the wind out of me.
Right.
And like I couldn't breathe and I didn't know what was going on. But like, and I was just completely like thrown back almost from what had happened. And um but and then well yeah, and then so back to the tattoo. I'm like gonna go off and talk.
That's
Well,
okay.
I'll go back to
It's
the
so
first,
fun and fascinating. Just go ahead.
yeah, like past lives. Like it's just a beautiful thing.
But the way that you
Um,
can look back and realize all the synchronicities that happened that are
yes,
aligned to this past life are just so crazy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Um, and so yeah, and then I got the tattoo in two different sessions. I got the rose, um, and then I got the crown on my birthday.
Okay.
So it was like on my birthday, it was completed. And so it's interesting because um, the I let the tattoo artist just I let him take reign. Basically, I was like,
Right.
this is what I want. Here's an idea, and I'll let you run with it. And he put like one, two, three, four, five. I have five leaves
Hmm.
um on my things. So and then my crown. And then my crown has like a heart in the middle of it, which is a red heart, which is also my husband's birthstone.
Okay.
And so, but my crown, if you look at it closely, it is Catherine's crown.
I kind of correlated that too. Yes.
Yeah.
It is
So,
very royalty-esque.
yeah. So it's like, here, I'll show you. The
That is
shape of
so
it,
amazing.
the shape of it and everything is it. I mean, hers has more gaudy,
Yeah,
but yeah. So, yeah, that's
it's
it right
so
there.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So you were
So,
talking about your husband and how, like, when you met, his energy was gentle and soft and kind. And when you read your book, your husband, obviously, he is in that past life with you. So you've had lives together and you found each other in this life. And his energy was like that in the past life. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for the readers, but who he is. But I think that's amazing too, that the energy of who we are and our past lives can carry over with us. And you recognize that on a subconscious or conscious level, your body, your soul recognized him and that gentle energy. Like you knew you would be safe with him after the previous relationship you had, which I
yeah,
think is beautiful too.
yeah. It was interesting. Like I think back and I like laugh at myself about this because like when in the previous relationship, if anybody knew what happened behind closed doors, and then when they saw me with my husband now,
Hmm.
like in a brand new relationship with a stranger, it was like I went just for example, the first time we went out to on a date,
Right.
he said, "Hey, can I walk you to your car?" And like this is after we had a really beautiful like dinner and a nice conversation. And I was like, "Yeah, he's nice. Like I like him." And but I told him I just said, why do you want to walk me to my car? Do you want to see what I drive? Like that,
Very guarded.
yes, absolutely. And like I mean, he respected it and he just said, no, I just wanted to make sure you got to your car safe. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, it's okay. No, no, no. And then by the third date, we go to the movies and um and like we're sitting next to each other and I put my head on his shoulder and there was this immediate like sense of safety and peace that I felt. And I fell asleep on him. Like
Wow. Oh.
and when I woke up, I was like, that's not normal for me. Like
Mhm.
in
Yep.
the emotional state that I was at the time.
I can
And
understand that.
but like it was interesting. It just felt as soon as my head touched his shoulder, like it felt like home
Hmm.
and peace and safety. And it was just a, a very familiar feeling that I had
Yeah.
with this technically stranger,
Stranger.
but
Yes.
like, like stranger in this lifetime, but like my soul knew who he was.
Oh,
And
immediately. Yes.
yeah. And so, but like from his point of view, when he talks about it, he was like, immediately when we met, he was like, I have to pursue this person.
Hmm.
Like he was like gun ho trying real hard. Like the first time that we met, he had this ungodly urge to buy me flowers. Like, and if you've read the
I've read
book.
the book, and that's why I'm smiling. I understand.
Yeah. And so, like he met, we met briefly. He came up to my work and then, I say after my work, we can meet up, maybe have some ice cream and chit chat a little bit. And, he left and then something had happened to where I was like, I don't know if I am going to be in the mood to actually make small talk with somebody.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I told him that I wanted to like postpone the ice cream date or whatever. And he was like, well, I bought you something. Is it okay if I bring it back? Now, the drive for him was 1 hour. So this man drove 2 hours to give me flowers that he had to give me that day. And like it was, he just had this like, I need to
Desire,
be with
need.
her. I
Yeah.
need to be with her. And I'm like, no. And
I
so
mean, but
like,
after the relationship you had been in, to have a man that would do that just because he wanted to, like,
yeah,
gives you a sense of peace, I guess, safety, or and when he came, like, how did you feel when he came with the flowers? Because I know what it means in your book. But
yeah.
how did you feel when he came in this current life to give you those
So
flowers?
he walks in like holding this vase, but he had this like look on his face, like he was mortified because he's turning into the to my place of work
Hmm.
and the vase tipped over. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed." And I'm like, it's totally fine." But and I was like, "It's okay. I could just put more water in it." And I left those flowers at my work. But he just dropped them off, and he just said, "It's really nice to meet you, and I really hope that I can hear from you again." And then he left, and let me tell you, flowers usually only live what, like a week, if that.
Yes. And
Those,
and you have to take care of them. Yep.
yeah, those flowers, I kid you not, they lasted for 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is like magical. That doesn't
yeah,
happen.
no, it doesn't. And like the owner of the place that I worked at, she's like, "Oh my God, we need to like have him buy you flowers all the time
All
because
the
these
time.
things like last forever." But yeah, all I did was I just put water in them. But like I'm pretty sure the energy that was
Yes.
put into those flowers like
Oh, I
caused
believe in that
them
so
to, yeah,
much.
yeah.
Now,
So
how did you meet him? Like, did you bump into him somewhere? Was it an app? Like,
an
how
app.
how did he find you? Oh, on an app.
It
Okay.
was on an app. And so the interesting thing was that I didn't want to. At the point, I was at the point to where I was like, I don't think I ever want to get remarried.
Right.
Like it, it was a really bad, like, and but um then something had changed where I was like, maybe it would be nice to just
Hmm.
start allowing myself to just, an app is where you can just have your own boundaries,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
You can chat with people on your own time, and there's nothing, no strings attached, in a healthy way, of course,
Oh,
you
yes, I
know.
understand.
And so, but he was the only person I dated, like
Hmm.
after my divorce. Like he's the only person like that I even like reached out and said hi to.
Right.
And so it's just interesting. Like he was my first after my divorce for everything. Like, and so, um, and not once did I ever like doubt that I was doing the wrong thing, no matter what
Right.
anybody else was saying to me. Like they're, of course they're all running their mouth trying to tell me like it's too soon,
Oh, people love
like
to tell you what to do with your life. I know.
right. So, but in cases like that, you just have to listen to your intuition. And at the time,
Absolutely.
like when I started letting go of things that didn't serve me, everything started to get stronger. And
Absolutely.
that was like I felt myself actually stepping into my power.
Hmm.
And so after I did that, it was just like this feels way too good and I'm
Yeah.
not going back. And that life that I lived was not serving my soul.
Right. Oh,
So, but it's interesting.
that is so fascinating though, but it all of that, and again, I'm trying not to give away anything from the book because I read that book, I think, in 2 days. I could not put
Mm.
it down. I read it, but I love to read. I read it so fast, so I'm trying not to give anything away. But all of that, the ex-husband, the flowers, the crown, your husband now, all of that correlates in some way to your past life as Catherine de Medici, and it's all in that book. So if you have not checked out her book, you have to go on Amazon and get it. I'll make sure to link it below this video. I'll give you all of Dominique's information so that you can go check her out. And is there anything else that you wanted to share about your past life, your book, anything with the audience that you think is important to remember?
Um, hmm. Well, I will say this too, that um, since I have published the book, some people have been reading it and they have found out that they were a person in that book, like in a past life.
Okay.
And so which is cool. So I've met about 5 people that have been in
That were
that book.
somebody connected to you in a past life that you've talked
It,
about in this book.
yes,
Got it. Okay.
yes. So which is really cool. Like they'll read it and they might have like a feeling or something and so it's not just with my husband. It's
There's so many other people making
there's
those connections.
yeah, there's other people in this lifetime that this is actually happening to as well. So it's pretty
But
exciting. So
isn't like of all the there's 8 billion people on this planet. And it blows my mind how interconnected we all are. And
mhm.
lifetime after lifetime, we find each other again without ever realizing anything that happened before. And all these people, like these 5 people, have also found you in this lifetime. It's so fascinating to think about how we find each other. Our souls make sure no matter where in the world, where in the planet you're born, you find each other. Like
Yeah.
that's so amazing to me. Dominique, thank you so much for being here on another episode of the Soul Care Intuitive Podcast. This is just part one of our interview with you. This episode, we're talking about past lives and the connections that they have in this current life. In part two, we're going to be talking to Dominique about soulmates, that connection that involves healing, past lives, and more. So stay tuned for part two. And Dominique, thank you so much again for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.